Sometimes the default settings just aren't going to get the job done. I recently encountered this when I was trying to track something into a scene, kind of like what's tracked to my hand right now and it's moving along. Yeah, guess what? It didn't work with the default settings. So welcome back to Creator Reality, my friend. Today we're going to dive into Davinci Resolve and I'm going to show you how to use the point tracker in Davinci Resolve's Fusion page, but not the IntelliTracker, which I already covered up here in that video there. It didn't work as well and I'm going to prove it to you. So let's jump into Davinci Resolve and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are in Davinci Resolve and you can see that I have the blue circle tracked and rotating and getting smaller and bigger and moving around. And this was all done using the point tracker, not IntelliTrack like I started this video out with. So let's recreate that effect. So the first thing we need to do is take our raw footage and we're going to go over to our media pool and I've dragged in this blue circle. So I'm going to drag it in. I'm going to Alt mouse wheel to zoom in a little bit. And then I'm going to drag the end of the circle out, the clip, so that it fits the same length as my raw footage. And I want to have this blue circle rotate. So we're going to need to keyframe it. So starting at the beginning of the clip, we want to go into the inspector. If you don't see it, click inspector. We're in the video tab. We want to scroll to the top. And I'm just going to click on this keyframe icon right here. I'm going to go to the end and make sure my clip is still selected. And I'm going to change the rotation angle. I'm going to type in -360 and tab away. You'll notice that we now have a keyframe here. And if I play this back, you can see that it's rotating to the right. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That's how we want it. But we want to track this. So let's do that. I'm going to lasso select both of my clips here. Right click. Come up and select new Fusion clip. This combines them into this Fusion clip. We're going to start at the beginning and you can either right click and select open in Fusion page, or you can click the Fusion icon down here. I'm going to open it in Fusion page via the menu. By default, Resolve will have added the background, merge 1 and merge 2. So I held my control key and clicked to select all of them, multi-select. Backspace to get rid of them, and then we need to drag the output of media in 1 to media out 1, because I already knew that media in 1 is the base clip. So I'm going to move my media out 1 up, move media in 2 over so that it all looks right. And with media in 1 selected, shift spacebar, type in tracker, click add. And the first thing I'm going to do is prove to you that IntelliTrack does not work for this. IntelliTrack 1 by default, IntelliTrack 1 by default. You just click in the middle and drag it over, and I want to track something on my hat. So I'm going to pick a point right about there. It's high contrast. I can even move it over into mostly orange. I'm going to come to adaptive mode, select best match, and then I'm going to click the track button. And it's going to track, and warning, did not complete. Look at that. It didn't get very far, and it failed. Now, let's go in and replace that IntelliTrack with a point track and get the job done. So I'm going to blow away tracker 1. So with media in 1 selected, shift spacebar, tracker. We add the tracker and we can't get rid of IntelliTrack because the delete icon doesn't work. We have to add our point tracker first. So we come down to add tracker and we click point. Now point 2 is here and we can delete IntelliTrack 1. With point 2 selected, we now have, and let me move this around so it's easier to see. We have a red line, right? And then we have the dotted line. The dotted line is where Resolve is going to search for the contents of the solid line. So whatever you're tracking, it's going to look in that window. You can make it a lot bigger, and then Resolve will take more time and processing power to search more of your frame for the contents of that solid box. But in this case, default's going to work really well for us. So I'm going to drag it over, and you see we've got a blown up window there. I'm going to drag it over to my hat. We'll grab right about there. And now with it here, we're going to come over to adaptive mode, best match, and we'll click track. And it looks like it's doing a pretty good job of tracking. And after this is done, we will bring in that blue circle and get it keyframed up with the size and position to make sure everything is kosher. So now let's scrub through our footage and make sure that it tracked. And you'll see that it's tracking my hat the whole way. Look at that. How magical is that, huh? Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, all the way through. Perfect. So now, with tracker 1 selected, we can come up here to operation and click match move. And then we can drag in media in 2. So we'll drag from the output of media in 2 to the green triangle input of tracker 1, and there's our blue circle. And the rotation has already been baked in via the clip that we joined these two clips together, remember, to make the fusion clip. So it's already baked in with that rotation. We're just going to add the keyframing for the size and the position. Because we're at the start of the clip, and we're going to drag through here, and look, it kind of moves around and doesn't quite do what we want because my hat rotated and my head moved and I got bigger and smaller. So what we need is a transform node. So let's shift spacebar again and type in transform and click add. Now we've got this little handle deal. We can just bring it up right here, and we want to center it basically on my head. And it's okay that it's off frame here. It will be on frame soon, or in frame. Now we are going to click on the keyframe icon next to center and size, and this creates base keyframes. So now whenever we move this handle, it's going to create another keyframe, and we can mess with the size as well. So we're going to drag back to about here where I stop moving away from the camera, right about there. And we're going to drag our handle over and then drag the size down because I've moved pretty far away from the camera, and you'll notice that we have keyframes here. And if we keep going through the footage, we're off kilter a little bit, so we want to bring it back on. And then I'm going to try to rush through this so it doesn't take forever to do this video. But right here is good. So we want to keyframe the position and the size. That's fine. And then we're going to scrub forward a few frames, and we want it to be more over here. So it's going to move over there. And you'll notice these white tick marks here. These are all keyframes for the transform node that we've got. So that's good. And then right about there, we want to keyframe our position again. And then right here, we want to bring it back over. And then we keep going. Right about there, we're going to keyframe it one more time. Right about there, we need to bring it back over. And then I'm going to move further away. So it's tracking pretty well, but we want to move right about there. We want to move it over, and we're going to track it size-wise down a little bit. But if we do this now, it's going to create a problem with our keyframes. So we can go back to this one and keyframe the size. And then as I move over here, now we'll do another size change. So what happens is, if you were to just change that size at that later frame, it's going to have a much longer section where it's making the circle smaller and smaller versus staying the same size until the last center and then get smaller. Does that make sense? Now we're going to keep moving, and I move a little bit further away, but we don't have to mess with it much. We'll leave it alone. We'll come back to the edit page, and then Resolve will fill out the render cache for us. And now we can play it back. You'll see that that circle gets smaller and is tracked to my head really well. And it kind of moves around. There's one other thing we could do to maybe make this a little bit smoother. Let's get out of full screen mode. We can go back into Fusion, and we can click on our transform node, come up to the spline editor, and then select transform, and then the all icon so it zooms out. And then we can lasso select all these keyframes and press our F key. So now it's going to smooth everything out. So we'll go back to the edit page, let it render it out for render cache, and then we'll play it back. Yeah, see, that looks a lot smoother, doesn't it? Yeah. I think I even forgot to do that in the original video, but that's pretty slick. That worked out really well. So in this case, I have proven that the point tracker is better than the IntelliTracker for certain circumstances. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, leave me a comment below and boop the like button. Maybe consider subscribing, hint, hint. And until next time, go check out this video that YouTube thinks you'll like, and I hope you're having a great day. John out.